Alright, what's up? So, continuing to experiment with this deck a bit. Um, let's see here. So, I went back to the build with the Inquisitions instead of the Sensors. So I tried them out yesterday or the day before that, and I didn't really see them come up, and it didn't really make much of a difference in the matches that I had. And so, um, in theory, it was cool to try out. It was a great, 2 mana counter spell. But unfortunately, I think this card needs to be played in 4 ofs and not 2, because I don't think 2 would have done much. 4 ofs means you will see this card more consistently. It's able to be used as an actual counterspell early in the game. Because if you're playing 2 of, you're most likely not going to see this card at all, which was the case. Either we didn't see the card early enough in the game, or we saw it too late in the game for it to actually do anything or matter. So I think Sensor's a decent, card all around, but it needs to be played either as a 4 or 0. Um, also, as a 4, it also serves as a cantrip, so it's not the worst thing ever. So I opt to try back just the hand disruption build. Our mana, I have no idea if it's gonna support it or not. We'll try it. We're playing quite a bit of um, black heavy cards now. We're more moving away from blue into more of the black color pie with a lot of our card choices here. White is still very little in this deck. It's just white serves as our main source for Teferi and board wipes, and it doesn't really serve any other purpose. It does serve a great purpose when it comes to siding, though. We do have quite a few cards that use white in their casting costs, so I think there's still a good reason to play white rather than just going straight to mirror. And my play style generally gears towards the mirror anyways, but I still like having a bit of white here as a flexible option for our casting costs. Another card that I may want to try back in. Well, I took out one Baleful to make and the sensors to make room for an additional Drown Unlock. Because we're playing so many Inquisition and Hand Disruption, I think we should be able to support 4 Drown Unlock. Granted, that might conflict with our Cyborg since we are playing some Rest in Peace and stuff like that. When we do side in Rest in Peace and all that jazz, we may end up dropping the Drown and playing more something like more of a hard counter, maybe something like either Mystic Dispute, maybe additional disruption like Gold Blank, or board removal, board wipe. If that's the case, maybe I add back in the Dovin's Veto as more of a hard counter, because we don't really have anything that hard counters in the side to kind of replace the Drown. We do have additional removal, but nothing really can take the spot of Drown. So I'm gonna have to experiment with that a little bit. I dropped down the Balefuls to 1. We aren't playing a lot of decks that are playing Planeswalker or anything that's super crazy hard to remove with our with what we have here. So I don't think Baleful at more than 1 is really necessary. Could stick with 2, and that's completely fine. I may want to add back, try out the other Teferi, the 4 mana one, simply because we are playing quite a bit of bad top decking cards. Like, these aren't that great when you top deck, and so same with Fatal against certain decks, it might not be useful at all. So I was thinking of adding back perhaps the big Teferi to kind of cycle through our deck, cycle through our hand, and draw the cards and answers that we need. But at the same time, we are playing Search for Escanta. There's times where we won't need to flip it, and it will help filter our top decks a little bit better, which is why I think I'm okay with playing this kind of the setup right here. It's because to do the search, we might be able to filter our top decks in the late game a little bit better, or if it's flipped, we can just go in and fetch for our answers. On top of that, that's why I'm still debating on the 3 Narset here. Might drop it back down to 2. I do like the Archmage Charm at 4 right now. Definitely, it has given us gas in the late game, given us the ability to counter stuff still. yeah, heavy blue costs, but we're gonna have to try it anyways. And so I think 4 Archmage Charm is the way to go. Um, Even with this kind of clunky mana base and not being able to kind of fix our mana base that well. Hopefully the Thought Seizes and the Inquisition will be able to support this card a little bit better. We should be able to kind of stall the game out. Hopefully be able to fix our mana and go from there. I did play against a Gruul deck yesterday that was playing land destruction, and that kind of hurt us a little bit because they were hitting our third color for blue, hitting our single one of colors for like black or white, and there's nothing you can really do about that, to be honest. It's one of those matchups that you just have to play to your best abilities. Hopefully be able to counter the land destruction cards, but it's not a very popular deck, so I'm not gonna try to tutor my deck to try to beat those land destruction decks. I'm just gonna play my deck to its best, what it does best, which is trying to disrupt your opponent, trying to maintain board state, and then dropping your threats late in the game and winning off of them. Yeah, I understand it might feel bad to lose to bit like really fast aggro decks that will have a good matchup against this specifically, but we'll try to mitigate that with the cyborg. In best of one, you kind of just have to pray at that point, really. And yeah, so those are my thoughts so far on just test playing this deck with this current environment, with memory lapse being banned and a couple of Midnight Innistrad stuff coming into play in the format. On top of like playing this setup right here, I think we'll have slightly better top decks because we are playing searches, we are playing the Narset, we are playing additional draw cards. I think we'll have a better top deck than our opponent. Hopefully we can hit their hands hard enough. Hopefully we can counter all their good plays. Hopefully draw into better cards than our opponent can into our threats, like the Shark, the Hero, the Ashiot, and then maintain board state. So that's the general idea of the deck, as the way I'm building it right now. So they're not super duper synergetic with each other, but the game plan is there, and that's what we're going to try to accomplish. In terms of the side deck, that's what I'm having a little trouble with. I'm not quite too sure where to go with the side deck right now. I kind of have cards all over that kind of reinforces part of the one part of the strategy, and so that's either maintaining board control or maintaining graveyard control, or winning out the counterspell war, perhaps. So that's what the side deck is tutored against right now. The main thing is I don't know how to play graveyard hate while maintaining drown and lock. That I guess we're going to have to work with, and maybe potentially find something else. But I think drown has been pretty good, and it has seen pretty good usage, and it's always a good top deck. It's one of the best top decks, I guess, because it acts as both a counterspell and removal. So you play it when you need to. Top decking this in late game is great because hopefully by then your opponent has quite a few cards in their graveyard, and so this card's always going to be active. There's times you're going to be playing against big mana decks, and there's just nothing you can really counter with drown, because they're casting stuff, cheating out stuff like 5 mana, 6 mana, 7 mana cards by turn, 4 or 3 with their ramp spells. So either with ramp with with green elves, or they're ramping with artifacts, and there's not really much you can do with drown at that point, but that's fine. We're just gonna have to deal with it, and that's what the cyborg is for. Which brings me back to my first point about the Dovin's Veto, which are going to be perhaps necessary to counter the big mana stuff. So I might add that back in. I don't think I'm need gold playing, to be honest, because we're playing so much heavy hand disruption. Maybe I'll grab rid of one of these and maybe dispute again to go back into the Dovin's Veto. I have a hate-love relationship with Veto, but with this setup, I think I think we can support Veto in this deck, so let me make that change real quick here and see how that does. Kind of old-fashioned when I'm doing that. I'm gonna put this here so I can kind of get a better idea of our curve. So yeah, curves looking here. Now these two are just kind of place a holder, but since we're playing against so many aggro decks, like sweeping the boards consistently turn after turn has been very good, especially when I'm playing against Merfolk, and stuff like that. Being able to consistently see your board wipes and just being able to always hold the potential to wipe them when you need to has been paying dividends so far. I haven't really played against any heavy artifacts or enchantment decks, but I have been signing this in as a additional board wipe, and it's been doing its job and doing it fairly well. So that's what this is for. This is for when we potentially go against other Planeswalker deck. I might take this out. I might play Elder Spell again. Elder Spell is kind of cheeky. Sometimes they have a Narset that's with one loyalty left, or they have it's a fairy or something like that, and maybe you have a Narset on board, or maybe you have a Teferi or Ashiot. Casting the Elder Spell there will essentially win you the game. Usually that was the case when I was playing Nicobolus, the Dragon God, because you would have Bolus on board. They might have 1 or 2 Planeswalker, and you would cast Elder Spell and then just pump up your Bolus to 8 loyalty and ult with him, and then just win the game from there. Or you win the game with, say, Liliana. I thought about playing Liliana in this deck, honestly, just as a good form of removal on top of a token generator, but she's kind of expensive. She's 6 mana. We might just it's gonna be us deciding whether we want to drop the Shark or the Lily, and kind of making those choices. And I opt that Lily isn't gonna get too much value in this deck, since we don't have any creatures for her to kind of net us cards other than just the token that she will generate. Most of the time, the 2/2 token that she generates is not gonna matter too much. It's not gonna apply as much pressure as the Ashiot tokens that he generates on top of our companion here. As you can see in some games, when I drop the companion and drop the Ashiot token, we put our opponent in a real good pickle, because we're able to attack without fear, remain vigilant, and having a 3/4 blocker that we make every turn is really good, and that's how we win our games off of Ashiot. So those are just some of my thoughts here. Let's go ahead and just jump into some games. We'll try some more best of 3s, and make some adjustments based off of our test playing. Okay, Renin 7. Alright. We are having a little bit of difficulties with some green decks. Oh, that's one of a greedy hand. Maybe we can support this hand. It's a little heavy, so that's the main issue with playing so many of these, is that you're gonna get hands like this. Why not? I think we're gonna be playing a slow game if he's playing this. Plus he's down the card. I guess if he thought sees us, it's not the worst. He's gonna choose his poison, I guess. We have Inquisition. Unfortunately, we can't cast that. It's fine. Or a thought seize. I just crack here. Or an island, or swamp, sorry. So like this. Let's see what he's able to cast. Vanishing, Visit. Let's hit the Visit. I don't think we care too much about the Vanishing, nor we care about the Drown Lock. Hmm. The choices here is that we can keep playing Fortress and stuff like that, keeping our mana open. Not really letting him see the other two cards that we have in our hand to kind of psych him out. He is down a card, and he is kind of off on a land. There's no, I don't think there's two mana cards that we would opt to care for too much in terms of countering. So I might go Glacial. Oh shoot, Glacial comes in tap. That's my fault there. I was gonna go Glacial and Kahiria, but I forced him to deal with it. But unfortunately, I kind of screwed that one up. He might be able to cast it because I wanted to play Kahiri or add it to hand and play it. I sort of screwed that up. Let's go ahead and add it to hand now. Then I'm gonna play this tap because we're gonna need that white source to cast something. You might be able to play that if you drew a land. Okay, drew the land, but not the card to support it. So. Maybe he'll drown here. That's fine. Let's go ahead and do this. Get rid of the drown. Fortunately, we are kind of flooding out here. So yeah, they are kind of dead in our hand. That's the problem with playing Drown is they can get kind of dead like this. So as long as he doesn't play another card, I think he's in a good position to win here. Unfortunately, when he plays a card, he loses. Or, you know, we're gonna try to get a card into our graveyard. Unfortunately, we drew the Thoughtseize one turn too late. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay, that's fine. We're not gonna really reveal what we have in our deck. We're gonna go ahead. He's playing. Obviously he's playing Drown, so we can reduce the Drown because we're gonna have some hard counters here. He does play. He plays 5 colors, so I definitely think there is a good reason to play this. We might not need that many board wipes. I think this should be enough here. So yeah, I might cut down the Drown back to 3 just because to avoid that situation where we didn't have any way to attack his hand. We had a few things. If I drew the Thoughtseize one turn earlier, we could have got rid of his companion and go from there. He does play quite a few big things, so I do want to have some form of removal for those big creatures. Other than that, he's gonna be casting some like Mizzet. I don't think Dolphin Beetle is gonna really do anything. We don't really need to attack the grave. Rest in peace and all that stuff is fine. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could have played a Baleful's in that sense over the 4th Drown, because that's what I had in before. But that's fine. Okay, we have a way to attack the hand, and I did misplay, so hopefully we can avoid that here. I'll play this tapped. Play the Drown here. Let's go ahead and attack his hand first. Hydrocrisis. I do think we want to hit the Hydro over the Drown, because we're not going to be really casting anything. But we do have a Fatal Push for the Hydro, I guess. So maybe we hit the Drown here. Let's just go ahead and hit the Drown and see what that does. It might be in the incorrect play, but this should be fine. I'm gonna try a Shark here. Like if he clean the dust doesn't really matter. We don't really have anything on our grave. Pass his turn. Let's drown for 1. I mean, if he wastes a card killing my Shark, I'd say that's a pretty good win here on our end. I could try this. He can Vanish Reverse it. I think I'll be okay with him Vanish Reversing it, to be honest. Don't really have a way to counter it either. I could have waited a turn to see and played this search, but I don't know why he didn't do that last. I guess he didn't have the mana for it last turn. That's why I'll let resolve. We don't need to use the Fatal right now. Okay. Let's attack first. There we go. This is gonna be really good against. Yeah, Dovin's Veto. Okay, that's fair. I'm gonna go ahead and counter that. I'll let him escape with free cards here. Fortunately, we are kind of flooding out, but I think we can add Kahili here and play tapped Godless here. I'll let it resolve. What should we do about that? I don't know if he has another counter. Might be playing into another counter. Another Dovin's Veto. But I guess he can't really cast his Hydro. If he tries to, I'm just gonna Aether Gust it. And I don't know if he knows that it just removes it from the stack. I don't think he gets his draw cards. I'm gonna Archmage Charm to draw 2. That will make his Thoughtseize worse. Rather than countering it, we're just gonna try to draw. Let's go probably hit the Teferi, that's fine. But he can't really cast anything else, I would say. Maybe I could have left that instead. Do this.
I train everyone to keep an open mind.
He has to cast the Jenga now. He cannot cast the Hydro because we have. Let's just get our threat here. And we can deal with Jenga with the hero. Okay. Yeah.
Hone your prowess.
We can attack both his hand. We're grabbing their Narset. I think attacking his hand, removing his ability to even just play anything is going to be good here. Let's grab the Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize first. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. Go ahead. Teferi here. Plus Teferi.
Keep up the pace.
Attack. Let's see what it does. I guess I could have not attacked the shark and use it as a defense maneuver. Let's let him commit to the attack first. No, because he might have drawn the counter spell. I think I should have just hard cast Baleful at the end of my turn. Oh well, he messed up there too. Yeah, I don't think there's a way for him to come back from this. Okay. This is playing really small mana creatures. I think Baleful might be better since it's more reactive than a board wipe. It was great that we were able to attack his hand. I think I will play more cards that attack his hand and more counter spells because he is playing. We could. Aether Gust wasn't super duper handy there. Okay, I forgot to take out these. Yeah, I don't know why I kept those in there. I guess we can do something like this. Just counter spell. Maybe something like this. Cause I forgot. I guess Fatal was fine against certain. But I mean, I could drown and lock his snake anyways. So I wasn't too sure why I did not side out. Good thing we didn't really get punished. I mean, we only saw one the entire game, so I guess I was fine. I have a lot of single target removal, and I think we'll stick with single target removal here. And maybe counter some of his stuff here with a bunch of counter spell, and attack his hand. So let's try that. Yeah, let's try this. We're gonna play more reactive, hopefully. We'll see. We need the Inquisitions to fight against his Dovin's Vetoes and stuff like that. He's also playing, Thoughtseize, obviously. Our top deck's gonna be better because of that, of the Fatos and stuff. Not a super great hand, but we do have double Thoughtseize, and we can just try doing that turn 2. If he Thoughtseizes us, it's not the worst. we also have plenty of dot C's and threats to deal with that. Yeah, the reason why I kept my hand is I know he plays dot C's. We're gonna be up a card. It doesn't, you know, we're gonna be a little bit slower, sure, but because we have we're gonna be up a card, we're gonna try to obviously race him there in that sense. Alright, he had another dot C's, that's fine. He's dot C's into dot C's, that's fine with us. Just gonna play our white source here. Granted, my draws aren't that great. If I draw another land, in which I can, that isn't a tap land, that would have been perfect, so. Yeah. Sucks. Granted, I think I can safely play. I think I can safely play the Narset, to be honest. If he has Drown and Lock, it's not gonna do anything. I'm gonna go ahead and do this first. If he
and prepare.
we'll do this for the long game. I guess we could have shocked just to threaten a card here.
My mind needs a
Okay,
rest.
I didn't see that one coming. That's unfortunate. There's two. Yeah, I took up my board wipes. I think we're in a bad position now. What can I do? What can I do? Spinning this is not going to be too good. We can make a shark. Can't really counter anything. It just kind of sucked that we drew all of our tap lands and not a single named land. Unlucky as it is, fine. I don't know if we have time to dig for an answer, to be honest. Yes, the fairy. The question is, do we really want to dump cards in our graveyard if he has the fairy out? But we can also dig for our answers. Maybe get a land up. Maybe trump block with the shark here. Not our best draw there. Going expressive, interesting. He needs the land. Yeah, I don't think we can come back from here with the visit. In terms of card advantage, we can always make it up, but the visit might be hard. Let's draw this. Pass return. I'm gonna essentially lock into fighting the visit. counter that first. Let's see what he does. If he counters it, that's fine. I'm gonna Archmage Charm. Draw. I guess he can counter it with Drown. I mean, I can buy some time with the fairy. Assuming he doesn't have a counter spell left. I don't think, actually I don't want to draw right now. Yeah, I would get 6 mana. I don't know what card I would need to save myself here. 1 mana counter spell like Mystic Dispute, so I can go, he can counter Mystic Dispute, or spin back the Mizzet, survive another turn. With this, sure. Counter spell, not the best. Yeah, he has it. Unfortunately, we didn't drew all of our tap lands so early. That was a greedy keep, but oh well. Didn't really see any of our other side cards, but such as that. Alright. Oh, let me open the pack here. Okay, well, might not be able to support the 4 Drown, but I can definitely put another Baleful's in if I need like hard removal or something to do. I mean, I think that was just a bad hand. Like, I can't really base my entire like, experience off of just a one bad hand. And that was my fault anyways for keeping such a greedy hand with the Drowns and nothing to disrupt his hand with. Like, I guess I really hate mulliganing. I can avoid it when possible, but yeah, that was definitely more of a pilot error than a plain error. Okay, that's keepable, sure. Got stuff to do, some disruption, some protection, a little bit of everything. See, hands like this, where we can kill things, send things to the grave. Hands like this is where what Drown Unlock would be really good with when we draw it a little bit later in the game. He's down the card. Might as well hit his hand too when he's down the card. Well, I guess we're just hitting a Narset then. Good for us. He kept the land full of hands, so if he's just landing every turn, I think we're okay. We are not going to reveal our other color yet. Just a piece, that's fine. Actually, it's not fine because now our Drown are kind of dead, so. But, I mean, I suspect during game 2, he's not going to really be, freaking, playing the rest in peace anymore. I mean, he could have a counter spell here. I'm gonna try to bait him out with another Archmage Charm at the end of my turn. Or end of his turn. And then I'm going to Ash Yachts right after that. Okay. guess I don't really care for that. It's just a 1-for-1. Question here is, do I just play the Narset? If we play Ashiot, we're gonna get hit real hard. But I have nothing else to do. I can always threaten another counter spell. He's 2 mana. There's not any 3 mana count with this color. I want to say we're safe to play something. I want to say we're safe to play Ashiot. Okay, Ashiot sticks. We're gonna make it like that. In his color, I don't know if there's a real easy way for him to deal with Planeswalker. And yeah, it looks like he's just gonna scoop here. Definitely want the counter spells in. And I guess the Vetols in case we play against the Archmage's Charms. He's playing red, but yeah, I might cut down one of the drowns in case. I think we want to keep the Hand's Disruption in. He's not really playing any creatures. Might be okay to remove some of the board wipes here. Add in something like this. He is playing the Dreamwalker. That's kind of big and that's kind of hard to remove for stuff like this. Because it does gain hexproof. So we could still keep like a board wipe or 2 just in case he does manage to stick a Dreamwalker on us. I didn't see any creatures. I might just go ahead and opt to remove that completely. Play that. Might be able to hit some of his red spells. I don't recall seeing any red spells though, so Aether Gust might not be that good. He knows we're playing a counterspell deck. Chances are he is gonna remove Rest in Peace. Like I don't see why he would keep the Rest in Peace in, so I might just keep playing the Drown as our main counterspell. Anything else here? I think that's with our sideboard. I think that's fine. Maybe we do Cleansing Noble. He does play a couple of artifacts here and there. Yeah, tough choice to be honest. Tough choice. Maybe play Cleansing Nova instead of the that. You know, let's try to attack his counter spell and get our threats to stick. We see, because of this type of matchup, I think I'm a little bit better because, in the control, especially when Memory Lapse is gone, you're way a little more limited in scope of cards. Our hand is kind of not playable. I do want some counter spells and stuff to interact. We have a very late hand game, but would be down a card. Okay, well, didn't even get to test our hand there, but I guess he is gonna forfeit there. Not the way I envisioned to win, but let's not count that game. Anyways, alright, let's do one more set and see how we do. I think Jeskai is definitely a lot weaker now. Jeskai control. Definitely a lot weaker without the Memory Lapse. They do get card advantages better than we do, but yeah. Ooh, another rough hand here with our mana base. Maybe I do cut down on the on that, but he's going first. We have a chance to draw. We have 2 turns to draw some playable lands, and we do have a Thoughtseize. We're gonna be pretty slow though, so let's just hope he is not an aggro deck of some kind. Worst comes to worst, we can Shark Typhoon if we need to, but we are on the draw, but Or on the draw. Yeah, we are on the draw. So should be able to thought seize, cast Narndale. Next turn, maybe Shark Typhoon for a land if we need to. Hopefully, we do draw another blue source. But it seems like okay, fair enough. Let's attack his hand first. He's a sensor. There's a chance he doesn't do anything with the sensor yet. I mean, I can just let him cycle the sensor away after a certain point. Like, I wanna cast Narset to invalidate his strategy somewhat. And Sensor is the only card that stands in that way. But if he draws a land, he's gonna have Archmage Charm live. Okay, why don't we do that? Why don't we force him to commit it? I'll do this. If he doesn't draw a land, he's screwed. I'm sure he's gonna cycle this. Try to draw a land. If he does get a land, okay, which he does, that's fair. You're gonna force him to Archmage Charm this. Force him to negate it. Okay, he doesn't negate it, it's fine. It's gonna be, I would say, a tougher choice for him. I'm gonna grab this. It'll give us a way to smack his hand around a little bit more. Let's see what we get.
I have just the trick for this.
Sure. Problem is this, I don't want to really tap out against him. But there's a chance he just might just have like counter spells and stuff. I should be able to safely play both Thoughtseize and that. I'm not too worried about Teferi because we do have Narset. Let's attack his hand then. Unfortunately, we need a fourth color here. None of this makes sense to. That's not gonna do anything. That's not gonna do anything either. Just hit the Teferi then. I guess we can just spend our mana doing nothing. Because the portal will hit our search, I guess. We can just threaten some stuff here. I'll go ahead and shark. Try to draw a card and let's give him something else to worry about. Let's try this. Bit of a greed, but I have the drowns, I guess.
Let's skip to the good part.
Maybe he does that, cycles it. We'll try to protect the Narset. It makes him so he's cycling a lot slower. Okay, so we're probably gonna need some graveyard hate here, or some form of exiling. We probably do want to keep the tough choice here. The fatals are going to be still good. We want to keep the Narset in, I think, for sure. Let's play some hard counters here. So I guess the question here is, do I play Rest in Peace and kind of invalidate his strategy with it? Kaya might be too slow. I think I do play the rest. I cut down on the search here. I'm already cutting down on this. I could play Beetles here instead of the Drown. I'm gonna still need the Fatals to clear some stuff. Yeah, we're gonna swap our counter spells over to Drown. We're still gonna keep our removal. I think we still keep the Inquisitions and stuff in to hit his hand, kind of or counter spell, kind of keep the Narset in to block him from drawing with Archmage Charms. Board wipes in case those priest dudes get a little too crazy. Question here is if I want to play another Kaya to kind of reinforce that. I don't know. I might just cut out all the graveyard stuff that I do with my graveyard, and then just do something like this. It's a bit of a clunky side, but we still have a lot of turn 1 plays, I think. And that's a strong point of the deck, is that we have some early game plays in Hand Disruption. IB is a little slow. We can't really answer his board that quickly. This is a keepable hand, sure. He's playing tap lands. Very nostalgic. He's playing search. We too are playing search. Well, the thing here is Zurius doesn't have a good blue counter. I think we wait a turn. I think we wait a turn here. I should be able to play this and be fine. I could shock myself too. Let's do this. So we can represent a threat of both a dispute and a veto. Have both online. Wait for our next turn or the turn after to try to cast Narset. I don't think we need to do anything yet. If you Archmage Charms, I am just gonna go ahead and dispute it. For sure, get some value out of that. perhaps we should play more graveyard removal, considering this type of strategy here. What can go wrong here? Play a Narset. If he Dovin's veto it, we lose Narset and he has 2 mana open. We'll have 1 mana with the Watery Graves. I mean, I guess we take action now because we do have quite a bit of let's try to take action. In the control matchup, obviously you don't want to, but alright, got the stick. So he has 0. I can't believe he would have 0 interaction. I don't want to get Dispute because then he can play around it. I do want to get Thought Seize. For next turn, so we can clear out his hand. We're gonna leave the blue mana open right now, just to see what he does. I don't mind if Narset goes down to 1. I can still have her stick on the board, that's fine.
You cannot see your folly.
I can't imagine him trying to tap out. No, I have 1 blue mana open. Yeah, we'll leave it open. I don't think I need a fatal this just yet, maybe? Because next turn we're just gonna Thought Seize and see what's up. Plus, you know, if he's gonna revive it, it's not gonna matter too much. He can't cycle anymore. If he tries to, he's gonna lose his card. He's tapped out. I think we dispute here. The Fairy, Archmage Charm. I think we'll hit the Archmage Charm and we're gonna force him to commit to Teferi while still being weak to an Narset. So we can Fatal Push that and then counter a Teferi. And then play our own Teferi, ideally. Okay, that's fine.
have much to learn.
He's tapped out. I don't know why he kept sealed away with against us. We honestly aren't playing any creatures at all. I'm gonna drop our Teferi uncontested. I mean, he's gonna just keep drawing his cards. I mean, I don't know what he's gonna do here. We have the Dovin's Veto up too. We should be able to get our Teferi to stick, and then we should be able to Ashiot and just make a ton of blockers. So he should be able to flip the search. I mean, if he commits 5 mana to playing Teferi, it gets negated. That's fine with me. Then we're gonna attack his hand next turn. I mean, that's fine. I don't give a crap about that. Nice card.
No more games.
Plus the Teferi. We are in a control matchup. We could technically tapped out. Yeah, so there's no way for him to come back in there. So, my strategy with that last portion right there. Oh, yeah, I should have clicked the view the battlefield. So knowing that he had a Teferi and a useless seal, like what is he gonna seal away, right? So we aren't even playing any creatures. I think he saw the cat, and that's why he saw that I'm playing a companion, but I never, it's just there, like it's sometimes it psychs people out to keeping in their monster hate, I guess, because they think I'm playing some sort of like elemental cat thing. But I'm playing 0 creatures, so if he sided more counter spells and hate like that, would have been fine. So what I was supposed to do is I'll drop the Ashiot. I can make a blocker. I don't think I need to bounce it back to hand, because if I bounce it back to hand, he would just cycle it next turn, get another one from his graveyard. It doesn't matter. So I would just make a blocker. He's not gonna have any way to deal with it. I was gonna then Thoughtseize, hit I guess the fairy in his hand, and then untap 2 mana. I would have Mystic Dispute up to counter again if I needed to. If it was a blue card, he had the seal. Seal only works if I tap my token. I'm just gonna leave it up. I'm never gonna tap it, and there's no way for him to deal with it. So yeah, I was able to get my Teferi to stick on board first. I don't mind losing loyalty on it. I don't mind Narset dying. Narset was good. She's just a body that stayed there. Was a threat to him because if he played Teferi and spent 5 mana to cast a Teferi without actually being able to draw a card, usually that's good for us. Because then we can play our own Teferi or our own form of removal to get rid of it. Yeah, I think the hand disruption worked well, especially in a control matchup. If they're not playing black, they're not playing hand disruption like us. We were good to go. Unfortunately, against the Niv Mizzet deck, we drew our Thoughtseizes, but we were never able to play them because I kept kind of a greedy hand. I kept a bunch of tap lands. See, so I'm playing a bunch of tap lands here, as you can kind of see, which is kind of bad. Feels a little bad. I might go ahead and take out one of the tap lands, maybe. Maybe a glacial, because we have plenty of white, especially if we put it back to the Godless Shrine, because the Godless Shrine will at least allow us to Thoughtseize and do our shenanigans and not be down a land, I guess. We are definitely wanna I guess reduce our white, because we don't need that much white, so maybe I'll do that. I'll down the glacial to 1, or sorry, to 2, and up our Godless again. Godless makes us weak in terms of not being able to play Archmage Charm on turn 3, but I think we just got to deal with that. I think this is just the nature of the deck. Playing 3 colors, playing stuff like this, forcing us to kind of play a sort of a wonky mana base is definitely subpar. If we're playing 2 colors, that's fine. You should be able be able to support the Archmage Charm. But to back up that claim, we are playing enough blue so that we should, if we aren't playing Archmage Charm, we should be able to play Narset on turn 3, which she kind of does the same thing as Archmage Charm. She does fetch us what we need, a lot of our answers, and there's something that she has to deal with. Most people, if we're playing our deck correctly, we should be able to remove most of their small threats with what we have here, and then safely be able to play the Narset sort of uncontested and be able to kind of keep her on there. Um, I guess the main issue here would be with the drown. Um, as you saw in one of my games, I drew so many drowns and not any other form of removal, and I was just clogged up for days. It was kind of unlucky, I would say. If they dropped another card, or if I drew another Thoughtseize a turn earlier, I would have been able to get rid of his stuff and be able to stop any Niv-Mizzet shenanigans and stuff like that on one of the games. Just unlucky draws. I mean, I can't really attribute it to the deck. I think otherwise the deck has worked somewhat consistently in our other 2 games where we're kind of just um, or 2 or 3 games here today. For how many games I played? 4 games. But yeah, we were able to see the drowns when we need them, and they worked okay. Sideboarding with the drown is a little clunky, but if they're playing like a strategy that relies on the grave, I think the Kaya and the Rest in Peace are good enough to disrupt that. And it's not guaranteed that we're always gonna see the Rest in Peace as a side card. Like, we're okay with playing Drown plus Kaya. Like, they don't really conflict. Like, they're not really like a conflicting card. But obviously Rest and Drown are definitely conflicting cards. So if we are siding in Drown or siding in Rest in Peace, we probably should remove the Drown, and maybe even downsize the hand disruption depending on the matchup. But so far, I think once we were able to stabilize or come close to stabilizing most of our games and dropping Teferi on, we run away with the game. Most of the time, our opponents aren't gonna be able to come back or put a threat on us or a challenge to us with when we were able to take control of the board there. And yeah, I think the Dovin's Veto did work. I mean, considering how I'm sideboarding with this type of setup, I think Dovin's Veto is okay to play, and we were okay with that. Their disputes were still pretty good. Still love them. Would maybe up them if I can. Baleful in the side, in the extra language. This is kind of one or the other I will side in. I probably won't side in both. Especially against a weenie white deck, I'm probably going to focus more on just board wipes and exiling. Against a control deck, I'll probably side in Balefuls to remove their Planeswalker if I didn't have a counter spell set up to stop them. So that's the idea of Balefuls. Balefuls plus Narset has won me a few games, so I'm a firm believer it does work. And worst comes to worst, it's a 4 mana removal spell at that point, and certain points in this matchup we can't afford to do that because we want to save our Planeswalkers and upticking them rather than using them to remove Planeswalker. I mean, this deck is inherently weak to other mirror matches or other Narsets. I say, if they stick a Narset on board, our only real way to remove it then would be with Sharknado here. We don't really have any other ways of interacting with other Planeswalker. So here it can be either an Elder Spell or a Baleful's Mastery. I'll stick with Baleful's because it's more utility, where Elder Spell is a very narrow spell, and we can only use it against certain matchups, and so it's kind of dead. yeah, so I think I like this build so far. It's worked. Still gonna think about the drown and what to do in 2 mana slots because our curve is kind of whacked. But you have to think that I mean I guess technically Shark can be a 2 mana card. Belful's a 2 mana card, but we're playing quite a bit of 1 mana card to make up for a lack of 2 mana cards. Like you think of these as counter spells essentially, because we're getting rid of a card in our opponent's hand, and they're not gonna be able to play it, and so it's kind of a more or less a 1 mana counter spell. And then we're gonna save the Archmage Charms to draw us cards. Hopefully, worst comes to worst, these have different modes, so they can be used as counters or as draw cards or removal. Yeah, so those are just my thoughts on the deck and the test playing it today. So I'll test it some more in the next couple of days. Um, yeah, our mana was a little wonky on some of the games. I'll cut down on some of the tap lands just because we ran into a situation like that where it was kind of bad. Um, we didn't get to see Arendelle or Bantress in play, but I mean I have used them before in the past games, and they worked fine, so I'll keep them there. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys next time.